Hello, stranger. And hello, Geeks and Gamers. Welcome to our official Resident Evil 4 Remake spoiler-free review. So if you have not completed or purchased Resident Evil 4 Remake and you do plan on playing it, you know you are safe here, that we are not going to spoil any of the juicy story details in this review. Resident Evil 4 Remake is a culmination of what Resident Evil fans have been asking of Capcom, all wrapped into one game. While paying homage and respecting what came before it, Resident Evil 4 Original, which is widely considered the best Resident Evil game of all time, keeping its survival horror roots while making several quality of life updates. One that I can mention that is a spoiler-free update is that on your weapon wheel, the directional pad, if you are playing on controller, you now have 2 slots, 4 weapons on each direction. So you have a total of 8 weapons that you can quickly cycle through if you need to reload a weapon but you don't have enough time. You are in a close situation with enemies. You can quickly slide over to another weapon. You have a wide variety of weapons that you can quickly go through to help you survive your intense situations in this game. And there are several intense situations in this game. While not going too over the top, like there is a certain section later in this game, a certain location where it is a little bit more action-packed, but not too over the top, still keeping a dark, gritty atmosphere while making it still feel like true survival horror. But for the majority, the meat of this game, it is gritty, it is darker than the original. It really makes you feel immersed in this very believable atmosphere of this creepy village and the castle of Ramon Salazar. There are also quite a few brand new enemy types unique to this Resident Evil 4 remake that were not present in the original Resident Evil 4. Some more obvious quality of life updates are the optimized modern controls versus the old tank controls in the original Resident Evil 4. This movement in this game feels so much smoother, especially when you do use Leon's roundhouse kick and suplexes on enemies that you have snuck up on and meleeed after a headshot. This game is mechanically flawless. Also, Ashley is much more competent in Resident Evil 4 Remake rather to how she was in the original Resident Evil 4. No longer does Ashley require herbs and a combination of herbs to keep her health up, so you, the player, can use your scarce amounts of green herbs and yellow herbs and a mixture of herbs to solely use on Leon Kennedy to make sure that his health bar is fully stacked up and upgraded throughout the game. After playing my first playthrough on just the standard mode, I can confidently say that Capcom does not hold your hand through this Resident Evil 4 remake. Too many games nowadays are too easy. They hold your hand and it's more of a walkthrough playthrough movie, where in this game, on standard mode, you will face difficult situations, intense situations. You might even die a few times before you learn the mechanics of the enemies so you can finally take down and defeat that area or that boss. And this being a true survival horror game going back to its original Resident Evil roots, it does feel natural that the standard mode would be difficult. And I know graphics are not everything when it comes to a video game, but when they are done well, when they are done perfect and flawless, it really does add to the immersiveness and atmosphere of the game that you are playing. And it goes without saying that Capcom nailed it. Resident Evil 4 Remake is beautiful, lifelike, and photorealistic in several ways, and it really does immerse yourself into this survival horror world when you see some of these terrifying looking enemies. Some of them really do make your skin crawl, and it just adds to the horror and the jump scares and the suspense of certain situations that you will encounter in this game. The sound design is also incredible and just adds to the immersion and adds to the enemy types. When you are walking through a certain area, when you're walking through the castle and you hear above you or below you a certain enemy just moaning and grinding his teeth, and you know that something is about to happen and you don't know where they're gonna come from. Resident Evil 4 Remake really is a love letter from Capcom to all of the true Resident Evil fans, and it is a true treat, and it does get my certified legendary stamp of approval. If you have not yet gotten this game and you are interested in survival horror, I urge you to go out and play it right now. It is that good. And if I can give any advice to new players, to a new playthrough, if you have not played through this game yet, take your time on the first playthrough. There are so many interesting things in this game, so many side quests and things that the game will make you want to backtrack to go to. And on your first playthrough, if you are just trying to rush through the story and just beat the game, you're gonna miss some of these glorious moments, some of these glorious side missions, that some of them happen to be boss fights, that you do get rewarded. You do get rewarded certain items that you can trade with the merchant for a lot of in-game currency. So take your time, explore this beautiful world that Capcom has created for you. Really think about the decisions you're making when you are trading and upgrading weapons with the merchant. What kind of playstyle you are going for, what weapons are going to be best. Really compare. There is a compare mechanic at the merchant shop where you can compare the new gun's original stats, your current upgraded stats on the current gun you're using compared to the gun that you are looking to purchase, and the maxed out stats for both guns. So you really can compare and contrast what guns are going to be better for your gameplay going forward. So take your time with the merchant, really look at what he's trying to sell you, and do not get swindled by this merchant. He is there to help, but if you are not smart, you can end up screwing yourself over. So take your time in this game, really enjoy your first playthrough through this game, and then on the next playthrough, maybe if you want to run through it faster, or if you're trying to learn methods on how to speedrun this game, that is perfectly fine. But I urge you on your first playthrough, please take your time. I hope you enjoyed this spoiler-free review. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with a friend who you think would enjoy it. Subscribe to this channel if you're new. And remember, we'll talk to you again soon, stranger.